What's happening, everybody? This is the Fan Dude 21 once again. What you're looking at here is a 52-inch Lasko ceiling fan, manufactured sometime back in the early to mid 1980s, sometime around 1983, 1984, if I were to guess. These fans are manufactured by Sanyo in Japan, and it is a 3-speed fan, electrically reversible. Definitely a pretty interesting fan. Basically what these fans are modified industrial fans for residential use. They use the same exact motor as the 56-inch 4-wing industrials that Sanyo manufactured, commonly labeled under the Dayton brand here in the States. But I think Lasko also offered them as well, but those are pretty hard to come by. But basically what's going on here is that, like I said, it's a modified industrial motor for residential use. Added a plastic decorative bottom plate, switch housing, adapter for a light, and use of 4 wood blades instead of metal, which I think the pitch on the blades are increased to 13 degrees to help compensate for the weight loss. And also the motor might have been detuned a little bit as well, who knows. But definitely a pretty weird fan. So without further ado, we'll give this thing a demonstration. Powered up on low speed here for starting off. The pull cord on the fan goes from low to high. And like I said, it is a pull cord, not a pull chain, as it uses a cloth rope instead of the ball chain like you normally see. All of which are common characteristics of these Sanyo made Lasko fans of the 80s. Low speed on the fan is a little bit fast for normal. Not aesthetic at all, really. Take it up to medium. There's quite a few different variations of this particular fan as well. This one here is the ornate, probably the fanciest version, and then they also offered plain versions. And the only finishes these fans came in is, for the ornate versions like this, white and antique brass and brown antique brass. And then the plain version will probably just either white or brown. The ornate fan just has that decorative bottom plate just screwed on top of the actual plain vents, and with the added decorative blade badges on the blades as well. Pretty decent medium speed there. And as you can hear, the fan has a bit of a running moan to it up on the high speed here. But we're cranking around 190, I would say, RPMs. With a 13-degree blade pitch, it's definitely a pretty decent performer. These fans are also available in a 42-inch size as well, which uses the same motor as these 52-inch ones. And I think the blade pitch is actually on those are 20 degrees instead of 15 or 13. So yeah, they definitely, to help compensate for the power of the motor, they just increased the pitch of the blades, which was a common thing manufacturers did. So here's reverse on low. Reversing switch is located conveniently on the bottom of the motor housing there. The 42-inch ones, like I mentioned earlier, are a lot less commonly seen than these 52-inch models. Even the brown and antique brass versions are more seldom seen than these white and antique brass versions. This seemed to be the most common variation. And they also made a version that had cast brackets, and also a decorative bottom plate that's finished in antique brass, but it had the plain vents instead of these ornate scroll looking vents. I'm not even sure what the heck they look like, to be honest with you. Take it to medium. The speeds on low and medium of what seems to be a little bit slower, so they're actually more normal. But high speed seems to almost just be the same, which likely the reason of that is that these motors are biased toward downdraft as being an industrial motor. And they just, common nature, they just run slower in updraft for whatever reason. The bearing on the fan, not bearings, the bearing seems to be in good shape still as well. It's like I said, it's only one bearing, as this is basically just a half motor. If you were to take off the ornate bottom plate there, you'll see through the plastic normal vents the actual windings of the motor. And we'll go ahead and let it coast. So definitely strange fans. Lasko also offered a 48-inch, I believe, model, which looked completely different than this. They probably used the same motor, of course, but had an entirely different bottom plate to it. It wasn't ornate. It almost looked like it was a copy of the original. Had a double rows of vents like the original does, which I'd like to find one of those one of these days. There's a local hardware store that has 4 of those in black still installed to this day that I've seen ever since I was a kid, and I always thought they were pretty cool. But it's cool to have this model too. So we're going to conclude the video. So that was the 52-inch Lasko made by Sanyo. 52-inch top mount ceiling fan. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time.